lot of people, you know, due to their own work constraints and things like that, are sometimes unable to catch these live, but they seem to really want to go back and watch them. So I'm Laura Dulce. I'm the Executive Director of the Kennebunk-Kennebunkport-Arundel Chamber, and we are here today with some of our fitness experts to find out how to keep fit and keep active during this kind of crazy time. And we're very fortunate to have with us today Richard Evans and Heather Evans from Quest, and we have Tiffany Lathrop. Tiffany is from our very fabulous yoga studio right here actually really not far from where I am right now, Tiffany, too, which is kind of cool. And then we have Kim Lloyd from Spurling Fitness. So we are thrilled to have all of you here, and we will get started, I guess, by asking all of you to kind of chime in on what you're doing right now. If you want to start, Tiffany, talking about what you're doing right now to help people keep fit and keep your business going.
Sure. So we are currently live streaming at least 3 classes a day at various times, and we usually take polls throughout the week when we're figuring out the next week's schedule to see the best times for everyone. And then we also we record them all and upload them. So all of our members have access to like almost 100 videos at this point. And that way, if there's, you know, someone that wants to take a class but can't make the time, we always send the link as well, so they can do it on their own time. So it seems to be working out pretty well for now. So it's been good. And it's nice to connect with everyone. We've done happy hours and different things like that too. So it's good.
Yep, and you're recording right out of your studio at the Daily Sweat, right?
Yes, most of the teachers still do go to the studio. Sometimes they do record from home as well. So you do get the dogs in there and the cats and all that.
Okay, I appreciate that. Richard, Heather, do you want to chat about what's going on at Quest right now?
Yeah, so, you know, when the restrictions kicked in in terms of indoor activity, we switched to outdoor activity quite quickly. So we moved our spin bikes outdoors, we did outdoor classes, our boot camps, cardio strength, we did outdoor yoga. Of course, some of that was weather dependent. When the restrictions went to the next step, and you know, the restrictions on how larger groups you could have gathering, that's when we switched to live streaming and posting live videos. So we're in that mode right now. So Heather's more of the product and also the technical behind the videos. So maybe talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so at first we were definitely doing a lot of like live streaming, trying to get different instructors in to show their different classes, like some Pilates, some core, some HIIT, a lot of different variations, just to keep giving our members the normal classes that they would normally take at the gym. So we have a lot of videos of those. We probably have 50 to 75 videos on YouTube and Facebook right now for those, and we're still having our trainers just send in short little clips of little like yoga flows or little HIIT circuits or stretches and stuff like that, and we're posting daily on our social media, Facebook, and sending out emails with direct links with at least 3 workouts every day to give our members something to keep busy and keep active. So yeah.
Well, that's great. Now, Kim, I know you're doing a lot of that, plus superhero costumes. So can you talk a little about that?
It's a good excuse to wear superhero costumes. So I'll start there, actually, Laura. So when we transitioned to the online model, really the first thing we tried to do is keep up essentially the accountability for our clients. So our model is a little bit different in so much as that we ask people to go in and, well, I shouldn't say different, but our model is that we ask people to go in and sign up for workouts, and that's usually what helps them stay accountable. So our first thing, whenever the restrictions came about, was to switch to everything to online, but to still ask clients to sign up for those workouts, and then much like everybody else, delivered those via Zoom. And so that in the first week, we really stuck with what we call our team training classes. So the HIIT, kind of like Heather mentioned. So that was where we started, but then from there we evolved to some stretching classes, to now the small group format, which is a little bit different for the clients in so much as for our bigger classes, even though those are live, we have everybody muted. At this point, we all know what it's like to have people unmuted on a Zoom call. And so, so everybody's muted, so they see us and we can call out to them, but not the other way around. And then last week when we implemented the small group system, it was smaller groups so the clients could come on and be unmuted and actually engage with the coach. So, so we've got the small group, the stretching, the circuit classes. But the other things we were trying to figure out in terms of what clients needed. We started offering a cooking class. That was not me. I do not cook. I did not offer a cooking class, but some of our coaches were doing that. And then we did do a book group. We are doing a book group to try to give people, you know, essentially a little bit of a distraction with the book group. And then the superhero workouts really are kids classes. And so that's a couple times a week we're offering a class so that our members can, you know, log their kids on and hopefully get maybe a half an hour of peace and quiet. So while the kids watch workout with Batman. So so yeah, a little bit of everything at the moment.
That's awesome. I'm just wondering, now that, you know, you've found these kind of alternate delivery methods, obviously all of us are dying to get back into the gym and kind of get out of our houses, but will any of those stay on past, you know, kind of the world reopening? Or any of these things, you know, I mean, I think some of us have really gotten used to some of the extras. Do you think those will continue?
I do. Yeah, I mean, I think that that's, you know, trying to figure out exactly what clients need right now. I think that those needs will probably continue past this, because I think none of us know what our new normal is going to look like beyond this. You know, that's, I think, the hardest thing is we don't know, A, when we're going to get back to normal, and then B, what's that going to look like. And so, so if the clients continue to enjoy that and that feels like something that is useful and helpful for their overall wellness, then yes. I don't know if I have the energy to do kids workouts 3 times a week beyond that, but we'll see.
Okay. Richard, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I echo what Kim said. I think, you know, we're not sure what the future is in terms of getting back to normal and what the timelines are. And I'm hearing from a lot of people, and we have a very diverse age group at Quest, and certainly a lot of people are rightfully nervous about when they re-engage and come indoors. So, you know, we may have people that are ready to come back at the early end of that process, and there are people that are going to wait a little longer, and there are going to be people that are maybe several months behind that time frame. So, yeah, I think it's been a great way for us to stay connected, deliver products to them, and get people to try different things. So when people come into your facilities, especially a facility like ours, where they come in and they can basically opt to go yoga, pool, cycle, strength. A lot of people do the same thing every time they come in. So this has been a way for people to actually, you know, when they're presented with a bar class or a Pilates class, to try something that maybe they haven't tried. So, you know, I think there's enormous value that we're learning in terms of being able to put new programming in front of people that I think we're going to want to stay with. And, you know, we're in a seasonal community where a lot of people are coming for the summer, they're leaving in October, and, you know, yeah, they join other facilities when they go south or go back to other communities. But I think this is going to be a way that we're going to stay connected with them for the majority of the year, as opposed to saying goodbye to them and we'll see you next spring. So I think that that's going to be something that we'll really dive into.
That's great. And Tiffany, what about you going forward?
I agree. The home video library has been really great, and the live stream, like Richard was saying, it's allowed us to reconnect with our clients. And we have, you know, clients joining us in London and in California that were with us last summer, so it's been really fun to see their faces again. And I know for a lot of teachers that, like, I used to teach in Oregon and Colorado, and we have another teacher from Louisiana. We've had a lot of our old students join, so it's been a fun way to reconnect with past clients too.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about what everything and what everyone can do now that they're at home. And Tiffany, I want to start with you, because I sort of explored yoga for the first time in this last month and found it super relaxing, and I think everyone needs a little bit of that right now. So what can people do, people, you know, like us, who are sitting in front of a computer maybe 12 hours a day, and how do we find some zen, I think we all need a little bit of that right now.
Yeah, I know for me, I wake up before everyone else in my house to get my workout in. It's just my quiet time and there's less distractions, and I can't do the laundry at 6 a.m. anyways because it'll wake everyone up. So that's kind of been my stress-free time. I wake up, I do a long walk with my dogs, and then I do an hour-long class, and it just feels really good. But I think there's also just like anytime during the day, we always encourage people just to even just put their feet up the wall if they're feeling really stressed out, and just like reverse that blood flow and take a couple deep breaths, and just find ways to like breathe through everything that's happening. I think a lot of people using technology probably more than they're used to. There's been some frustrations, and I know for me, like I hate Zoom, so it's not my favorite way to connect with people. So it's just kind of figuring out how to breathe through the day and not let the stress build up.
That makes sense. So Kim, I'm sitting here, and obviously sometimes we have to get stuff done, and there's a lot of hours, and fortunately my watch reminds me I haven't stood up in an hour. What are some things people can do, even if it's just in 5 minutes? Is there a way to just every 5 minutes jump up and do something? I mean, I like Tiffany, I like to do my workout before everyone gets up, but I need to get up out of the chair. I think there's a lot of people out there that need to find things they can do to get up out of the chair in the course of a work day.
Yeah, I think that's first and foremost. I think for a lot of us who don't, like, my watch will remind me also to stand up, and I think that first and foremost, it's trying to encourage everybody to set a timer, to set some sort of a reminder. I think we all know what it's like to get into a good groove and get into a zone, and so before you know it, you've been sitting there for 3 hours and you're feeling pretty stuck and pretty locked up, and so to set a timer to remind yourself, and then from there, to stand up and do, hopefully if you're, some stretches at this point to do, but if you don't, of course, there's some, stretches kind of for your wrists, and stand up for your essentially loosening up your upper back. And I also think what's available and what I hear everybody saying here is that, you're making that information as accessible as you can to your clients. And so right now, as long as people can kind of remind themselves to do that they should have hopefully some pretty easy access to a short routine, maybe that they can do every so many minutes. But yeah, I mean, pick 4 or 5 stretches, get something a little bit for your legs, something for your upper back. If you have time to take a little bit of a walk around your house or whatever. But I think that the more frequent you can do it, the better. We know that sitting is not good for us, but if we sit for 8 hours and work out for 3 hours at night, that still doesn't really undo all of the sitting. And so trying to just force that habit of getting up in between Zoom calls, I think for most of us at this point, schedule. Do not schedule your Zoom calls back to back to back to back to back, which is what I do, and you should not do that. So try to schedule in that 5 minutes of stretching to kind of make that happen.
Yeah, no, I definitely hear you. Richard, Heather, do you want to talk about stuff that you think would really work for people during the day to get them moving? Yeah. And sometimes just get out of your own head is a good thing.
Yeah, I think Heather can probably comment on that. You've been doing a lot of the yoga.
Yeah, so one of the biggest things that we've been stressing to everyone is just to try to keep some kind of daily routine. Try to keep that circadian rhythm with the sun and everything. Try to rise with the sun in the morning. Try to rise naturally. When you get tired at night, just follow that instinct to go to sleep, because otherwise our circadian clocks are going to be like all over the place. And if you're used to a really structured weekly setup, just try to keep structured in that, so you have some days for work and some days for rest. Maybe it's not Monday through Friday working, Saturday, Sunday resting, but at least have some days where if today's a work day or a rest day, so your days just don't all blend together and you end up not even knowing what day it is, which has definitely happened to me a few times. And also just, trying to get outside whenever possible. I mean, everyone is saying don't go anywhere, don't talk to anyone, but that doesn't mean you can't go outside and just go for a walk, even just walk around the yard. If you have a dog, that makes it easier, of course. Walk your dog or something, but just being outside or being active for 20 to 30 minutes just starts to release those endorphins, and they are such a huge advantage to boosting your well-being, your energy, your mood, and everything. So if you can just get yourself active for even just 20 minutes, just walking, jogging, dancing, yoga, push-ups, squats, whatever it is, you know. So we've been just trying to get a lot of stuff out there for our members, lots of little stretching videos, little short 5-minute clips that they can repeat maybe 2 or 3 times throughout the day. But yeah, and also just talking about breath work with our clients as well, and just really focusing on, even if exercise isn't something that you're super invested in, or if yoga isn't part of your normal practice, just trying to bring breath work into your life, even if that means just a few times throughout the day, just taking like 2 or 3 minutes to just shut your eyes and think about your breath. You know, just really slowly inhale, fill all the way up, hold it at the top, and really slowly exhale, because that's going to start to work those alveolar sacs down at the very bottom of the lungs, which are responsible for gas exchange, which will help you all not get the coronavirus as well. But so just really trying to breathe deeply and just, you know, stretch out those lungs, stretch the body, fit a couple sun salutations in here and there, because those will just work out the whole body.
Oh, that sounds good. Let me ask you too, Heather. I know Richard said you're kind of their, you're the tech person over there. Are there, I mean, I know I personally struggle with the angle of the laptop. I know people are trying to do all these on phones and iPads. Is there an ideal way to have folks do this, or good ways to actively engage in a workout and still, you know, be getting it on your computer?
Right, yeah, so I mean, I think that we've been doing YouTube, I think has been the most kind of user-friendly, less glitches and stuff as well, and most people, we've been emailing those links and also providing them on our social media so people can either click on them from their phone or their computer, and we've gotten pretty good response about the YouTube links, and people have found that they can kind of like just even stream it onto their TV, prop up their computer somewhere. If you have like an HDMI cord, you can just plug your computer right into the TV and it just mirrors the screen. So there's definitely a few different things that people can do. But yeah, or even just watching a workout video and then maybe go try it on your own. You don't necessarily have to follow along, you know, movement by movement. Maybe just watch a video, see if there's a movement you want to go and try. Go try it out. Maybe come back, watch another one. So yeah.
Now, I've actually really enjoyed some of the YouTube stuff because you can put it on a big smart TV and it does give you a little bit, a little extra there. Kim, I know you're doing a lot of live classes. How are you able to engage? It must be so very different, of course, than being in the gym, but you know, when you've got that computer there and people are putting chats and you're trying to read, like, how does that work for you?
Well, I mean, it's nice to be able to, again, it's good when people jump in the chat box. Of course, we use Zoom, and so in delivering the workouts, it's a good opportunity for clients to, if they need a modification, because I think that's one of the challenges we probably all have right now as coaches, is that, you know, we're trying to deliver a product, but all of our clients have some unique needs, and particularly injuries and things like that, and so it's a huge advantage to be able to have them communicate one way or the other, maybe what they need that might be different from what we're delivering, whether that's just a modification of an exercise or what have you. But we know that at least for the live workouts we've been able to do, it's you know, calling out the clients by name is really helpful. So being on a call and being able to say, nice job, Laura, nice job, Heather, nice job, Richard, keep up the good work, and they know that we see them, and trying to just give them some feedback makes them feel a little more connected than, of course, we have a lot of people that are also doing the YouTube videos, you know, sort of after the fact, but in the moment, the clients seem to be enjoying feeling seen, because that's one of the things right now is we're not, I think as a culture, we're not being seen a whole lot. You know, it's an incredibly isolating time, and this is great technology to have access to, but sometimes it's nice to know that somebody can call you by name, you know, and just sort of acknowledge you for you. I will say though, I'm mortified every time I see a client have my video up on a 70-inch screen TV. I'm always just have a moment of being like, oh yeah, that's leave that. I'm on a 70-inch screen. It's a little mortifying, but
yeah. I love the, like, you know, hello, you know, Kim, Laura. I feel like it's my romper room moment of the day, which is kind of fun. I don't know. Now, Tiffany, I know a lot about yoga is kind of creating the right mood and making sure there's that kind of slow, thoughtful approach to it. Have you found that challenging at all, or have you found ways to kind of create that with this new technology?
For some of our classes, when we are live streaming them, we are kind of setting our own mood with candles and stuff that they would normally get to experience at the studio. We are a heated yoga studio, so we've encouraged people, you know, if they have a space heater, they could turn it on a few minutes before they're going to live stream a class and just close the door to a room. Or some people love doing the live stream classes after someone's taken a shower, if they have a big enough space in their bathroom, to kind of mimic that. So that's been kind of good, but it is definitely different. I know my husband was like, oh, you need to do outside classes at the beginning. And I'm like, when it's 30 and raining, it's not exactly the same as 90 degrees in the studio. So we've been kind of
unmuted.
Figure that out. And some people love it. They're in their deck or a 3-season room in the sunshine and totally enjoying it. So it's been good.
I'm sure they are. I just want to remind anyone, if anyone has any questions, just throw it in the chat or just say, hey, I have a question. I'd be happy to.
This isn't an exercise question. It's more of a diet question because a lot of people are struggling they're really, really trying not to go to the grocery store multiple times, you know, like, so my goal is to go 2 weeks, which means by the end, there's less fruits, there's less vegetables because I've pretty much housed them all. Do you have any, that's green beans and broccoli are like my weakness, and I'm almost out already and I have another week and a half. Are there any suggestions in regards to that? Like, keeping your produce or just buying canned? I mean, we have backup canned veggies and stuff, but are there any tips on that?
I'm not a nutritionist, but I mean, you know, we're all involved in giving advice and working with people with questions, you know, on an ongoing basis like this. But I think, you know, a lot of frozen fruit and vegetables are a much higher nutritional quality than we would initially think. When you see the fresh produce on one aisle and you see frozen, you automatically think, oh, it's in a white plastic bag, it's in the freezer, how can that be good for you? But actually, when fruits and veggies are frozen very quickly after being picked, they retain more nutrients than things that are maybe shipped in crates and maybe have been frozen, then thawed out, I mean, in a truck, and then in a shop for a week. So I think people should really explore, you know, frozen fruits and vegetables, maybe more than they have in the past.
I know at our house, we've been making a lot of smoothies too, and just we'll freeze spinach and buy frozen fruits and throw it all in a blender, and that really seems to work well. And it's something that we can all enjoy. Hope and I have also been making our own popsicles with just like fresh fruit if it's about to go bad. And it's literally just like fruit with a tiny bit of honey. So we're trying to find like fun things to do with her too.
And Kim, you mentioned something about the kids workout. So is that something new that Spurling has created in regards to just getting kids moving and shaking?
Yes, yeah, that was more, right now we're able to have a lot of one-on-one conversations with clients right now, which is a large part of what I'm able to do, which I think is one of the benefits of this situation. I would not be doing that probably otherwise. But in the course of those conversations, it was just really evident watching the parents trying to manage doing work from home, and then their spouse is home, and then, you know, they have younger kids that maybe just can't quite keep themselves occupied, the 5, the 6, the 7-year-olds that, you know, they're just not going to sit still. And so it was sort of born out of that, kind of seeing that need and saying, okay, how can we be helpful? And so what I did, I'm from Pennsylvania, so I tried it out on my niece and nephew one week, and I said, okay, if I can keep my 8 and 9-year-old niece and nephew occupied for half an hour and they don't walk away, then I'll try it, you know, with the gym. And so so that's what I did. My niece and nephew actually, as it turned out, A, really liked it, B, have requested it on a regular basis, which is interesting. But that once I got a sense from my niece and nephew that they, that it wasn't going to bore them essentially too much, then yeah, we were like, okay, what can we essentially, I think we're all just trying to figure out what our clients need right now and how we can be that for them. And so this is definitely, I don't have kids. I don't really, like, I say it's not my jam, but it's just like we know there's a need. And if kids can be active for a half an hour and wear a little bit of energy out, then we hopefully know that is serving the wellness of our clients too. Well, also, maybe teaching the kids a little bit about, bear crawls. So.
Are there other things that kids and families, obviously with all the kids home from school and needing to burn a lot of energy, are there other pieces of each of your online offerings that kids can do along with mom or dad?
Yeah, I'm not sure, probably the rest of you may be experiencing this a little bit too, but I know that we have some spouses and partners and kids that are joining for the workout, which I just think is so awesome to see. And I know that clients seem to feel like they can stay a little bit more accountable to it. I think in some cases, kids are getting some phys ed credit here and there. I'm not totally sure about that. But I'm curious if you see the same, but we do see some kids like jumping on there and some spouses doing the workout along with them, and parents seem to be just thrilled that they're doing that.
We've seen that
doing a better bear crawl than me this morning. I just want to put that in. I'm sorry, Tiffany, go ahead.
I was just going to say, we've seen the same thing, and we've also, my daughter Hope has a few yoga books, so we've read those together on Instagram Live, and she's demoed all the poses, and she's a 3-year-old, so the other kids follow, and it's really fun to see everyone's family and get the pictures sent in and stuff, everyone working out together, and we've come up with some fun yoga games and stuff like that we've shared too.
That's great.
Yeah, we've definitely seen some engagement from family and friends too during the live streams. We had Jason doing a at-home strength class. He was doing it with put a bunch of books and stuff in his backpack. And so we had a couple of our members texting us pictures afterwards of their little kids and their backpacks and stuff, all tuning in for the workout as well. So yeah, definitely lots of engagement and just, lots of we're still able to connect with everyone through social media, which is so huge, and kind of get that socialization and connection that we all miss so much from seeing each other every day. So yeah.
So Heather, you mentioned working out with books. I mean, I know during this time, not everyone has a home gym. Not everyone has, weights or things like that. Are there things that people right around the house can use? Have you been able to do some body weight workouts and not have to have a home gym to be able to do all of this?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so we've been totally having people, when we first did our first round of live videos and stuff, we were having our instructors bring in things of laundry detergent, water jugs, cans of beans to do Pilates workouts with, literally anything that you can find that has a little bit of weight to it. It's better than nothing if you're looking for a weight bearing exercise. But we've also been doing a lot of videos that are just totally body weight related. So you can get a total good workout just doing body weight exercises as well. Push-ups, squats, crunches, just going for a walk.
We have, not to mention,
doing some HIIT exercises. So we've been trying to do all the.
Not to mention that we have a crazy instructor that actually did a workout with a frying pan. Actually, Michelle, she's actually on down there. Yeah. So
yeah.
So everyone has a
frying pan. Michelle might be the queen of at-home workouts.
Really clever workout, and I was videoing it, and I wanted to try it. It was effective. So you can work out with pretty much anything.
Totally.
Yeah.
Now, Kim, I know that Spurling did a little bit of sort of an extra issue with the equipment as well. Do you want to speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, so when we essentially when we knew we were going to be switching to online services, we let our members take a couple pieces of equipment home, because we know, obviously, to your point, Laura, a lot of people don't have workout equipment at home, and we know that most people don't necessarily find it ideal to work out at home, which is why they come to our gyms. But what we did is we just had people sign out 2 pieces of equipment, and so some people signed out a pair of dumbbells or a kettlebell and some bands because we do a lot of band work. And so, and then once they did that, we also were able to offer, in some cases, some customized programs. So for people who maybe were too injured to do some of the YouTube videos or some of the Zoom classes that we had, able to kind of write a little bit of a program around the equipment that they took with us. But yeah, there's not a whole lot of equipment in the gym right now. So most of our clients have it out in the community at this point.
Yeah. And Tiffany, you probably are struggling less than some others with the lack of equipment at home, I'm assuming.
We are. We did let clients take home blocks and things, and if they've emailed that they want some. But all the videos that we're doing for live stream and recording don't require any equipment. We've also had people use like cans of vegetables or tomato sauce as weights and stuff like that too. So people are definitely finding whatever they can around the house if they need it.
Yep. So talk to me a little bit, Tiffany, like I know you mentioned the social media and doing stuff on Instagram. Are you finding that people are really responding to it? Because it seems like so many people, even if you're busy, they've got social media open, people have computers, people are spending a lot more time on their devices now that we're all kind of home. Are you finding clients really interacting differently now?
They are, and it's really fun. We are very fortunate that we've always had a very social community. So it's just been another great way to keep everyone connected. And we sell a lot of like workout apparel at the studio, so we put all of that online. So I drive around to people's houses and let them try clothes on and stuff and get to see them. So I mean, it's been really good. And I think they're connecting even more with one another. If they used to be a morning person, maybe now their schedule has changed and they've met some new faces that they get to work out with on Zoom. So it's been great.
Okay. And Kim, are you finding that too? Like the extra connection piece with people now that they're really kind of tied into their electronics?
No, I mean, to some extent, yes. In the beginning, I think it was maybe a little bit more. I think in essentially week 4, this is week 4 for the gym being all online, and week 5, I think, for our clients to be at home. So I would definitely say yes or no, yes and no, because I think people are maybe a little more willing to engage because there's not a lot of other distractions out there. And we also know we're all looking at screens a lot more than we had in the past. And so in some ways, you know, I think we're all trying to figure out what the balance is for us in terms of our new normal is a lot of this. And so I think I would say yes and no, but for the most part, we know that we have a members only Facebook group, and once a week, once a day, Doug, the owner of the gym, is going in and essentially just checking in to see how people are doing. And I will say we are seeing a lot of people coming in and answering that, because the question is just like, hey, how's it going? And then people have an opportunity to just authentically engage, with kind of where they're at. So I'd say a little both, really.
Yep. And Heather and Richard, are you finding new ways to engage people? Obviously not face-to-face in the gym.
Yeah, definitely. I think that it's definitely started out stronger, I think, as well. I think that at first when we were doing the live classes from the gym, everyone was definitely tuning in a lot. But I think people have definitely kind of switched around to kind of use the videos when it's best for them. You know, we make sure that all these videos are available for them, and we make the links really easy to find and everything. So I think everyone's just able to kind of go in, and I've gotten a lot of messages from people saying, oh, I can't wait to try this video. I'm planning to try it tomorrow for my workout tomorrow and stuff. So people are able to kind of plan ahead with the videos that we've given them and get like a good variety of workouts in. So yeah, and we've definitely gotten a lot of social media engagement, I think even more so. I mean, we've definitely been getting more followers and everything on our Instagram, and a lot more people commenting and chatting with us in our messages. So yeah, it's been kind of plus side a little bit.
Good.
We noticed as well that when we were doing the live classes, we'd get a big group of people logging on for the first 15, 20 minutes. And then, there'd be interruptions in their home, if something would happen, they'd be off, they'd be back on. So we started really changing our longer workouts to shorter workouts, and recommending that people even like take a 10-minute burst of Pilates and stitch it together with a little bit of cardio from another video, and kind of just pick and choose little pieces, as opposed to feel like, you have to just do this one workout. We're presenting a workout, you got to do the whole workout. And to Heather's point, I think, having the library of videos versus a strict online schedule gives people a much more flexibility. So if they want to do the same workout twice, they can just go back to it and do it second round later in the day. Or do it, at any time. Who knows? We probably have people doing these things at 3 in the morning and we don't know it. But I think that's fine too.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally get that. I find myself doing a stretching class before bed at night too, just a pre-recorded, and it's really great.
Yeah.
So for people like me, I've gotten used to doing these extra things now. Is there any fear that once this is all over, people aren't going to walk back into the gym, or that they'll walk back in less? Or is there any kind of transition that needs to take place?
Good question. I think, everything's evolving all the time. So, I think there's a role for both modalities of dispensing exercise, but I think a lot of people like that social interaction. They like the group setting. In all of our businesses represented here, we do a lot of group activities, and I think even people that do one-on-one personal training with us do it in a group environment where they're still connected with other people. So I think, and the biggest comments I hear, Laura, you said your mom loves the pool. I've got a lot of emails and texts from ladies that are just saying, and a few of the guys, but mostly ladies like our pool classes.
Yeah.
You can't wait to get back with that 11 o'clock group. They've been dialed into these time frames for 10 years, and it's really part of their weekly routine. So I think they'll be very excited to get back, but I think they'll also have that other resource, especially when they travel, to use the other ways of getting exercise from us too.
Yep. Tiffany, Kim, either one of you want to weigh in on that?
I completely agree. Most of the feedback we get is just that they miss one another and seeing everyone's faces and hearing about their days in the studio. But I do think it's nice to know that there's the classes you can do on your own time too, if a class at the studio isn't going to work. So it'll really just depend on what people's schedules look like in the future and what it's all like.
Yeah, and I would agree very much with Tiffany and Richard in that we know people tend to, we have like morning people and evening people at the gym, and they often come at similar times, and so they look forward to seeing the same people, and they can get exercise anywhere really, but hopefully they've developed friendships and routines wherever they are, and ideally that's what they're coming back for. On the other hand, I do think some people have surprised themselves in the ability to work out from home. I know it's like people say I could never work out at home, but they have found a way. I think some people have actually found that they found a way to make it work a little bit better for them. But even I think despite that, hopefully it just adds another tool in their toolbox to which I think Richard or Heather said, when they're traveling now you have a little bit. You have a better understanding of maybe how you might work out on the go, but you're still going to, come back into our facility, to get that connection.
Yeah. Any thoughts? Beyond the technology piece, but any thoughts about how this might change any of the gym's workouts, people coming in the future? I know we don't have any idea even of a date when and things will kind of start emerging, but from the sounds of it, it'll happen gradually and it'll happen with different populations. I just wondered if any of you have had a chance to think about that yet, or talk about it with your staffs about what that might look like. I don't know, Richard, is that something that you're talking about?
Well, we had a lot of these conversations before we closed, when we were reevaluating, what we need to do from a hygiene standpoint. We've always had Purell gel dispensers around the facility and antimicrobial wipes, and we have a laundry service, so we have had a lot of pieces to it. But I think, we're going to have to be prepared to up that game even more when we open. I think there's going to be a new expectation for, what we provide and how people exercise. And I think, people will carry some of their sense of wanting to have some social distancing even after this has gone away for in some respects. So yeah, I think that there could be some different things that we're going to have to be ready to be flexible and listen to our customers and understand what makes them nervous about any of these issues going forward, and be able to make them feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm. Tiffany, same for you?
Same for us. I completely agree. I know we've talked about, trying to do more outside things in the summer and stuff while things, slowly build back up, and just kind of see how it is and go from there.
Yeah. Kim?
Yeah, I feel like we, just in general, I think the fitness industry, I know the fitness industry has been hit really hard, well outside of, our community necessarily, but there are gyms going out of business, unfortunately, all over the place. There are personal trainers who essentially, they run their own business, so they coach, but they're also their own business person. And essentially, people in fitness have had to really figure out how to deliver fitness in a different format, and which is what we're all doing right here. And so on the one hand, I think it's kind of teaching us how to make how to kind of survive, when you can't be face to face. And so I think in that essence, I think the fitness industry, I think, has been changed forever, because of this situation and the changes that you're seeing from it. But I think it also, again, it's also, hopefully our clients are discovering other tools for their toolbox, but I think as businesses, we all are as well, because we've now, in a very short period of time, we all had to suddenly learn how to, I love doing a workout with a frying pan. I need to know more about that. That's amazing. But essentially, we've had to get really creative, and everybody here has done that. They've gotten creative. And so there's now another tool in the toolbox. And, I think Tiffany was saying you've got clients checking in from Colorado and from Oregon. And, in that sense, I think it's really awesome because you're able to grow your community a little bit bigger. So, I think it's hard right now for a lot of people in fitness. But I think in the long run, it's maybe changing it for the better.
Well, I'm so impressed with what all three of your businesses are doing. I think I've seen the same stories about places having to close and just not being able to carry on, but it's pretty impressive that our community has 3 businesses like this that have been not just surviving, but almost thriving in this time, and really taking this to a completely different level, which is so impressive. We had a talk on Monday of businesses thinking outside of the box, but all 3 of you have done that already. So thank you for that. One final question for you. I know this is a time that, we all kind of laugh about sitting down here, but it's also a stressful time for a lot of people. We have a session Friday with some kind of mental health tips and things, but I do know Heather touched on it. A lot of what you do and what you work with people releases endorphins. It makes them feel better about themselves in a lot of ways. So for those people who are struggling out here to get through the days, and maybe they're feeling a little down, or a lot of people are having trouble sleeping, any advice for, Heather mentioned breathing and some other stuff that you might offer to them? Just to get through the day. Or Tiffany, you want to weigh in on that?
Sure. I know for me personally, getting a little outside time can really change my mood. I have not had to entertain, so Hope turns 3 in a couple of weeks. I've not had to entertain her for like 14 hours straight, ever. So she's sleeping less and less naps, and everything I feel like is shorter. So sometimes it's great to just go outside and look for worms or pick up leaves or do anything, and just kind of changes the whole mood of the day. And also, like, what Heather was saying, breathing. I put my feet up the wall, or I'll do a restorative yoga class before bed to help me get some like deeper sleep. Anything to kind of calm me down like that. I also just really, I do love cooking, so we've been baking a lot, and so that's been fun to do together too.
That's great. Heather, do you want to expand on that, or Richard, some thoughts?
I think that, I mean, yeah, everything that everyone's been saying, just, you know, doing anything that we can just to break up all the sitting that we're doing, just try to get outside, try to get back to any kind of normalcy that we can in this crazy time. And yeah, just try to get outside, you know, get some vitamin D, get some sunshine, because not only is that going to help you feel better, but it also boosts your immunity and everything. So, you know, just getting the body moving in whatever way you enjoy the most, biking, you know, even if you just get out and do something like dance or something for like 10 minutes, who knows?
I feel like we just need a 70-degree sunny day. If we could just have,
I know, right?
Wow.
Well, Laura, I know you're doing the session tomorrow, on Friday, with more the mental health, but I think that Tiffany and Kim, and I know Heather, will appreciate that a lot of people come to our programs and our services not just for the physical benefits, but for the mental benefits. And I mean, and that covers a whole range of just people that have seasonal depression, the people that are anxious, the people that are clinically depressed. And I think exercise, you know, is one of the best low risk modalities for addressing, you know, at least mild mental health issues. So I think, you know, it shouldn't just be regarded as how do I keep my body in the best shape during this situation, but how do we keep the mind and our psyche in shape too.
yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I feel like I've been just reminding everybody, trying to remind myself too, to just give yourself as much grace as possible in this, and to try to change your expectations, because you know, I think it's almost like it's like if you started a new job or you suddenly moved, like you have to develop this entire new routine, except none of this was by choice for anybody. And so some people are absolutely thriving, and to your point, Laura, some people are really struggling, and it's like, you know what, reminding them that they're doing the best that they can, and to, you know, for them to try to have a sense of like, what is the most important thing that you can do for yourself right now? What you know, going outside, which I know has not been ideal, like days like Monday, you can't do that, but just encouraging people to just drop their expectations down to a point that feel manageable. And if what you can do for yourself right now is get outside and take your dog for a walk, then do that, and let that be enough, I think, is also what we're trying to help people come to terms with that. Like, I know this isn't the routine that you were maintaining 2 months ago. This isn't the same. I understand that, but you know, do what you can with what you have where you are, and also trying to remind people about the healthy coping strategies. I mean, exercise is one of the healthier coping strategies out there, and so if you can find a way to do that feels good, but also, you know, using the senses, like petting your dog is a good thing, listening to soothing music, listening to meditations, you know, drinking tea, like, you know, using the 5 senses in ways that can kind of hopefully bring you a little bit of comfort. But I feel like for the most part, we're just all trying to remind each other to give ourselves grace for what we can do, what we can and cannot do right now, because we're doing the best we can.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. So with that, I want to let you all go back to your day, but I want to thank you so much, Richard and Heather from Quest, and Kim from Spurling Fitness, and Tiffany, who I think we actually lost somewhere along the way. I think her internet gave out, from the Daily Sweat. We so appreciate you being here today. If you're looking for another outlet, tonight at 5, we're having our first virtual happy hour the Kennebunks. So please join us for that. We've got, I think, live music and cocktail classes. And so I think it'll be fun, but I really appreciate you all being here today and for keeping so many of us moving during this really tough time. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lloyd.
Bye-bye.